Here's a tour of Brendyn's Barbecue in Nacogdoches, Texas. They're a top 50 barbecue joint from Texas Monthly. Brendyn just gives us the remarkable tour. Hands down, one of the best tours we've had on the show. Super detailed, super intricate. You're going to learn so much about his business, about the barbecue business, and it's heartfelt. He also brings in 2 other businesses, a sign business as well as the coffee roaster that he uses because he uses coffee in his rub for his brisket. He brings them in. So the end portion is all the coffee roaster, and it's super interesting. If you're interested in learning how to make coffee, this is for you. You can go to the very end and see that. But this one is spectacular. You're going to enjoy it. Let's go.
So what we got here, this is an East Texas thing. This is our loaded potato. It's a big russet potato. Man, we drown it in butter, sour cream, cheese, and chives. Then we chop up our coffee rub brisket, and then we just douse it in our sweet sauce. Moving over here, here's our lemon pepper rub ribs with that glaze on it. We've got our poppers. We season cream cheese with our pork rub, stuff it in jalapeno. We'll wrap it in bacon, and then we mix that same pork rub with brown sugar to candy it. Here we've got our boudin. This is our barbecue boudin. Some nice cross action there. And then we've got, this is a special this weekend. We do a new special every single weekend. Every Friday and Saturday, something completely different from the weekend before. So this weekend is the boudin. This is our first day of this. I'm going to snap it open. This is an Asian smoked duck boudin. We're going to snap it open there. Yeah. So inside, it's all duck. It's going to be smoked duck. It's got the duck gizzard in it. It's got the duck liver in it. It's got rice. Got a little bit of pulled pork. It's going to be Thai basil and a basmati rice, peas and carrots, fish sauce, sriracha, red chili oil. I mean, anything that you love about Asian flavors, it's packed in there. I'm really proud of it. The habaneros and the chilies definitely make it spicy. No gloves. We're gonna dive in. Here's our pulled pork, just seasoned with salt, pepper, chili powder, paprika, cayenne pepper, garlic, onion powder. Kind of your typical like Texas barbecue rub. It's heavy on salt and pepper. Here's some burn ends of our coffee rub brisket. We get a really good bark with that coffee. I know later we're going to go to the coffee shop where you can actually see them roast the beans, so that's cool. But yeah, just those thick flakes of the coffee. A lot of people ask, is it like brewed coffee? It is the dry coffee. Move over here from the burn ends. We're going to go to our sliced brisket. We got some. Here, just get a lean slice there. Is that nice? Let's see if it holds. There we go. That nice little pull everybody loves. Under these ribs, we'll tuck it away. We got a nice fatty slice there. Sell our chicken by the half. It's going to have that same pork rub and then doused in that mayonnaise, sweet sauce glaze. Moving over to our sides, we got our jalapeno cream corn. We used tamed pickled jalapenos. A lot of people like to ask, what is jalapeno cream corn? I just joke that it is in the name. It's jalapenos, it's cream cheese, and it's corn. Moving over to our white cheddar mac and cheese. Going into a pinto bean. This is not a sweet baked bean. It's more savory. It's got a lot of onion in it, a lot of garlic. Coleslaw, we make the dressing from scratch. It is going to be kind of like ranch dressing. We used to have this sweet slaw dressing we use, but now we make it completely from scratch. It's going to be lemon juice and parsley. So think like ranch dressing, just a little bit more brighter, a little bit more citrusy. We're going to come back to the greens here and move over to our potato salad. We take all the baked potatoes that didn't sell for the day. That's what we turn into our potato salad. It's kind of like a baked potato salad. It's going to be mustard and mayonnaise based. It's got some pickles in it, some chives, some cheese, and then our pork rub. So think a baked potato, like a loaded baked potato into a potato salad. This is our new one that we're working on the weekends. This is a collard green. We take the au jus from the brisket and we cook that with chicken broth and we just stew these collard greens in it for several hours. And it's so savory. That beef brisket broth that just soaks in the greens it's such a southern comfort food. I'm really proud of that one. Moving over to our banana pudding. Our take on banana pudding is going to be kind of like a cheesecake. So it's going to be a cream cheese base. If you could think of a banana pudding cheesecake, that's kind of the texture we go for. It's a cream cheese based banana pudding. It's made with real bananas. Some banana puddings are like vanilla pudding with banana slices. We take real bananas. It's whipped into the cream cheese, a little bit of vanilla in it. I really love our banana pudding. It's people either really love it or it's just not for them, but man, we sell so much of this. I stick by it. What we have here is our 2018 Best Bites Award sandwich. This is our pig apple sandwich. It's going to be our pulled pork with our coleslaw on top, and then underneath is going to be that Granny Smith sliced raw apple, and then we top it with our Carolina sauce. And man, it's a great sandwich. It's as close to a salad as you can get in our restaurant. That apple and that fresh slaw just makes it really fresh, and so for a barbecue sandwich, it's really light as close as you can get. It's a great sandwich. To our sauces, we offer 2 sauces. This is your typical sweet barbecue sauce. It's going to be heavy on honey, brown sugar, and Worcestershire. This is our take on a Carolina sauce. I can't really call it a Carolina sauce anymore. We used to have a true Carolina where it was just white vinegar, apple vinegar, spices, and hot sauce. And in East Texas, people were not loving that one too much. So we changed it up. We thickened it with some ketchup and mustard. And it's nice and light. It complements pork really well. It's a good counter to your thick, dark, sweet sauce. It's just lighter. That mustard gives it a nice, like, spicy kick, but it's not necessarily a spicy sauce. It just thinly coats the meat and adds just a little bit of a thinner flavor, and it's great. You mix them together, it's really like a super sauce. Yeah. Hey guys, welcome to Brendyn's Barbecue. We're gonna go inside and give you a tour of everything. Come on in. So it's pretty small dining, but we're really happy with what we've done with the place. We do all original artwork. We're pretty proud of our sauce. So you've heard it said that good barbecue don't need sauce. Well, we like to flip it and say good sauce don't need barbecue. We're pretty proud of that sauce. This is a joke, and I found when I went to the beach that another barbecue joint has this too. So it's pretty fun, but that's a classic barbecue sign. This one, we have a cool pirate barbecue themed shirt we did. I was rocking my kid at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I just thought, man, it'd be cool if I had a pirate Brendyn's barbecue shirt. So we turned our original Pig Apple logo, put the skull on it, and we have this fun thing of eat, barbecue, or die. Goes with our rules and all that fun stuff. Here's our original sign from Dolphin Printing. This was a gift from Dolphin Printing. Once we got in our brick and mortar, this thing is beautiful, and they did our sign outside as well. These tables were inspired by Ramen Tatsuya out of Austin. That's one of my favorite ramen places, and I love their tables. It's just paneling. So we built our inside tables, and we did the sanding, we did the poly, we torched it, and then in the middle we did a brand of the logo, and my buddy Jason Hill helped me with that. We seat about 40 people inside. We can seat probably another 50 outside. Definitely more seating outside, but inside you have the air conditioning, which is pretty necessary. Coming over here to where we order, I don't think you're a cool enough barbecue joint if you're not repping all your buddies and pitmasters and the other businesses local for sure. We got our rules there. No moving tables, no reserving them. AC is precious, so keep the door closed. All the pets need to be outside. You know, if you bring a drink, bring one for the pitmaster, and then write a review. We like to put fun things on shirts, and so the healthy thing I have found for me is if you give me a 1-star review, I'm going to have fun reading it, and I'm going to put it on a shirt if it's bad enough. It's funny because sometimes reviews aren't bad enough, and I'm laughing because I really want it on a shirt, but the 1-star review is just not bad enough. So if you're going to write me a bad review, make it really bad so I can put it on a shirt. We got our sauces here you can pick up. We got our tumblers. We've got some local glasses we made from a buddy. It's got our logo on the front, and then on the back it says celebrating being top 50. We've got our pork rub. We call it pork rub. It's more like an all-purpose rub. And we use this rub for seasoning chicken. We use it for seasoning our porks. And then it's all-purpose seasoning for our mac and cheese and different size potato salad in there. We are craft style barbecue. So we still stick to ordering by the pound, but we still do specials and fun things on the menu. So if you see on the left, we've got everything by the weight. We've got our sides underneath. And then up top, you see sandwiches. All those names have a purpose. My dear friend Gary, who I've known for such a long time, when I was in a food truck, said, "Hey, you should name a sandwich after me." I said, "Well, Gary, what do you want on the sandwich?" And he said, "Everything." So we put everything on a bun. Said, if I sell enough of these today, it'll make the menu. And sure enough, there it is on the menu. Ramsey is my best friend and godfather of my children. And what he has done is helped me learn everything about the restaurant industry. So he owns the local Chick-fil-A. He used to be my boss, now my best friend. So that sandwich is made in honor of him. You see under that is the pig apple. That one is our famous sandwich that we got Best Barbecue Bites for on Texas Monthly in 2018. It's delicious. It's a brioche bun with pulled pork. It's going to have slices of Granny Smith apple on bottom. We make our slaw from scratch. It's going to be a lemon parsley dressing, and then we make our take on a Carolina sauce. It's going to be mustard and vinegar based. It's a good sandwich. It's got a good snap to it with the apple. Makes it taste really fresh. The McCoy is a really cool Texas name. It was a family name, pretty much named after my younger cousin. I call him my nephew and his family. It's your typical brisket sandwich. It's just a one meat, pickle, onion, and sauce. We've got the Marvelous Taco. That was one of my first employees named Omar. And so he made a delicious taco. It's definitely a barbecue taco, not a Mexican style taco. It's going to be brisket with the cream corn and barbecue sauce. And then we do the pulled pork with the slaw and the Carolina. Then under that, you have your East Texas staple, which is a loaded spud. It is a big, huge potato. The whole thing probably weighs about 2 pounds. Most people don't finish it, but I'm proud of you if you do. Loaded mac. It's a loaded mac and cheese. Got the popper. We're really proud of the popper. I don't put brisket in the popper. We really like to let the bacon and the cream cheese shine. We'll talk more about that when we build a tray for y'all. And then banana pudding, of course. We got our merch here behind you. Let's see what's on the back of this one. Yeah, it's gonna be the back right there where it says our logo. Says a pig and a chicken and a cow walk into Brendyn's barbecue. The end of the story. Then we've got over here the good sauce don't need barbecue. Our hats made from local company called Spirit Outfitters. They do a great job. They do a lot of good artwork for us too. We'll come back over here, take you through our posters, some pictures that mean a lot to me. Obviously, we're pretty heavily sponsored by Coke. If you haven't caught it, we got Coke everywhere. We do like to be controversial though. We believe in Pib over Dr. Pepper, mostly because people love Dr. Pepper so much. I think Pib's better, so I'm selfish with my Pib. Here's our new big trophy right now is our Texas Monthly Top 50 plaque. Above that is a picture of me, my wife, and my dad. He passed away in 2020, so I like to have his picture hanging above it, just to remind me how excited he is for me. Over here we've got an article written by Daniel Vaughn from Texas Monthly. It's the best barbecue bites of 2024. We got on that list for our brisket. We'll talk through that later, but it's a coffee rub brisket. So to get a best barbecue bites for brisket to me is pretty exceptional. I'm really proud of that. Here's our first one from Texas Monthly. This is a picture of that pig apple sandwich that Daniel took. That pig apple getting best barbecue bites of 2018. Here's our take of the famous poster, the come and take it. My wife painted that. It's our logo. It's a come and taste it. So it's a fun take on that really cool Texas flag. Then let's see, more articles, more fun pictures. This is another article written by Daniel. Is an additional write-up when he visited our brick and mortar. Really proud of that one. And then Over here is one of the write-ups we got from a local magazine from when we were a food truck. Just telling our story, our origins. We were definitely still new at that time. This greasy guy up here is my best friend. His name is Matt. We sponsor a beefsteak dinner as a non-profit dinner, and at the end they do a dirty apron contest. He won, as you can tell. He probably deserved it, and I figured definitely hang his picture above the trash can. It seemed like the most appropriate spot. Coming on into, we call it the family room. This room is pure nostalgia for me, full of pictures of cool people we've met and the people that mean a lot to me. Right here is our very first sign made before I had any real logo or sign. I think I made that on like Microsoft Paint or something. When I was leaving Chick-fil-A, my last day at Chick-fil-A, the crew over there had that made for me. I cried like a baby, but that was really cool. This is my wife and my oldest son, and there's another kid right there in her tummy. That's my second one, Jackson. This is a picture of when we got the building. So this is before we got to come in and renovate it. It was in pretty rough shape, but it's really exciting to switch from a food truck to brick and mortar. That's cool. The Texas flag was original. Nacogdoches made sure that I could not paint over that, nor would I ever want to. Picture of me and my mama. This is Ramsey from Chick-fil-A. Just super proud of me getting my brick and mortar. What's cool about him is while he was working his tail off at Chick-fil-A, you know, at lunchtime, right after peak lunch, he would change his clothes and come in here and help me paint and renovate to get me open. So find you a better boss than that. And I'd be surprised if you could. This is Chef Siva. He is a fantastic chef. He taught me a lot, and he's a huge inspiration. If I have questions on collaboration stuff, I just text him, and he texts me so fast just to help me out. He kind of coached me through a new boudin we have today. Some other awards, we got Taste of Nacogdoches, People's Choice for Best Entree. This one's random. We got Best Healthy Choice. I don't know why we got Best Healthy Choice, but I'll take it. I guess if you're doing carnivore diet, you could count it as that, but that's a fun trophy to have. I'll take you through quite a few of these pictures. Here we've got me and Daniel. The first time Daniel came, that was a scary day for me. Second time Daniel came, I was a lot more confident that day for sure. Here we had Snowmageddon in Nacogdoches. Gosh, we got probably a foot of snow. It was crazy. We had Derek Huff come in from Dancing with the Stars. Jules was really happy. She's a big fan of him, and she got to serve him. That was cool. Here's my bros at Sunbird Barbecue. They came and celebrated with us our birthday as a brick and mortar. So he came, and they took a Saturday off to come make boudin and sell tacos with me. And that means a lot. So Sunbird, thank y'all so much. Y'all mean a lot to me. Other pictures of people that worked here, people that moved on. Here is Don Smith with Don Smith Signs. He helped create our logo. He did all the pinstriping and painting you see in the restaurant. Our menu board that you just saw was completely handmade, all hand painted, all the pinstriping. Nothing is vinyl. Everything that you see was was painted by him. Let's see, Steele right up there. He's just an OG local. Right here is our ribbon cutting from when we got top 50. And then in these pictures is just me and my kids. You know, this is my oldest son, Levi, working on a Saturday. There's me and my family again, my dad and my mother. Let's see, here we go. We got Right On Taco. Shout out to those guys and gal. They are such good people. I got to cater for Stephen Curtis Chapman. That one's really cool. If you know who that is, that's a pretty big deal. Yeah, and then just moving on to special more things is the first day as a food truck. Got that picture there. My second visit to Franklin Barbecue with my best friends, Josh, Christian, and Kevin. And then this is extra special. We got to recreate this photo when they came to my brick and mortar. So it's cool to have Franklin above and then us down below. Here's us when we operate as a food truck, when this used to be a coffee shop. It's pretty cool that we got to partner with the coffee shop here and then got to make it into a barbecue restaurant. The building was built in the 70s, and it was like an original drive-in gas station. The cars that actually pull their cars inside. Above the drop ceiling, you can actually see the garage doors. It's cool. Maybe one day we'll renovate where we can bring that garage door back. But that would be pretty cool if we could do that. After it was a gas station, it was a day-old bread store. I don't really know what that means. I guess it's just in the definition of you come in and buy bread that was baked a couple days ago, day before, I guess. After it was a bread store, it was a realtor's office. After a realtor's office, it was an AA meeting location. After that, it was the coffee shop. The coffee shop didn't make it, I think he moved on to new opportunities. So once he dropped the lease, we got to take over the lease. And what's really cool is after leasing it for a year or two, we actually got to buy the building. And once we bought it, then we really got to start investing in it. We got new roof, new air conditioning, new pit areas built, new plumbing, just all the things that a good old building needs, we finally got to do to it. Here's a picture of Aaron Franklin. I've been to Franklin so many times. Matt, who was hanging above the trash can, ran into Aaron at a small wedding. And it's really cool because Aaron Franklin sent me a video, saying, hey, Brendyn, good luck out there. And then after that, we made top 50. So it's cool that Aaron gave me a shout out, and then I got to be on a list with him. That's incredible. That means a lot to me. I don't even know if he knows that. We have this word legacy on the wall. This is part of my personal mission, owning Brendyn's BBQ, and my passion. If there's a statement I have, which is to be a legacy through opportunity and loyalty. That's everything that I do through this business is run through that filter. Helps me keep everything in check. And then here is who I do it for. So these are my sons. This is my oldest, Levi, my second, Jackson, and my youngest, Redding. I've had this in the food truck. When I was the first kid, it said do it for Levi. Owning a food truck is hard. When you're working in the weather conditions, it can be daunting, it can be exhausting, it can be intimidating, and it can be discouraging. So on the hard days, when I'm struggling or business is just hard or things aren't working out, big or small, I look at this and it's a good reminder that I'm working hard for them and their mother. And then on the days we're winning and everything's going wonderful, I'm remembering who I won it for. So eventually it'd be cool. I'm done having kids, but we can, when they start having kids, we can put grandkids down here or whatever. I would like to continue this as long as I'm involved and own Brendyn's BBQ until I die. This is always a sweet reminder of who I do it for. We've got some more merch hanging up this way. I don't know if you typically do bathrooms. I think somebody's in the bathroom, so we're not going to tour the bathroom. I'll just tell you about the bathroom. Somebody wrote us a bad review once, and we put it on a shirt. It said, bathroom was shabby. I thought that was a random review. And I think they liked the food, actually. They just weren't fans of the bathroom. I would just argue that when you're renovating, I think we ran out of money when we got to the bathroom, so we just made sure that you could wash hands and have a clean toilet. But that person took a picture and posted a picture of our bathroom and put it on Google, which is so random. 2 summers ago, we renovated. After we bought the building, we remodeled the bathroom and made it. It has this cool artwork like this. And we took that person's picture and hung it up in the bathroom so you could see the before and after. I'm not passive at all. I just like to do that. Anything that's pretty much negative said about us, we just turn it into comedy. I mean, that's really the only positive way to deal with it. This is an article written by SFA. I am an Axum Jack. That is where I graduated college. So it's cool that I was a lumberjack becoming a pitmaster. Also shout out to Law BBQ. She is from SFA as well. So, SFA makes great pitmasters, we like to say. And then we'll do a quick walkthrough of the kitchen, and then we'll make our way over to the pits. This is just our prep area. All of our sides. Got your ready to eat vegetable fridge. Come on through. This is our head pitmaster, Leanne. She's bringing our baked potatoes off. I don't know how much you want to see kitchen stuff, but yeah, we've got Nick here doing dishes. It just goes to the serving area. Yeah, we'll swing through this. This is Andy as the manager. This is Matt, our GM.
What's going on?
What's going on? We'll squeeze through. Yeah, so talking about this was an old gas station. Our raw room, this used to be a shower. This is like the original, you pull into the gas station, they give you a key, you come around back, you can take a shower, use the bathroom. We made this the raw room, so this is where all the raw prep happens. It's pretty small, but the stuff we produce out of this tiny space is pretty incredible. Coming outside, we'll go to the food truck and eating area, and then we'll work back through the pits. This is our original food truck where we started, Brendyn's Barbecue. We don't commission it anymore. Honestly, this thing's way too heavy to pull around. We have a better use for it. So since the list came out especially, we get long lines and people need to get to lunch pretty quick. So what we offer is a call ahead system. It's about a 20-minute wait, and what you can do is call ahead and skip the line. So instead of calling ahead and skipping the line and causing the chaos in there, we make it more convenient for you where you can just get out of your car, come to the food truck, pick up your order, and get back to work wherever you got to go. This is also where we do a lot of our catering prep and pickup. All the outside dining, it's nice to finally have some shade and cover out here next to this big, beautiful Texas flag. This table right here is where probably most of the food pictures happen. You know, it's just that cool old wood, and you got the Texas flag in the background. Whenever we have special events, we'll do live music over here. And, you know, we'll have other vendors and tents set up over there. So it's a cool setup. This is really nice for outside events. We do live after 5 events and just fun stuff like that. Coming through here, this is all the pits have a name and a purpose. A lot of joints give pits fun names. It makes it special to them, and there's also a purpose, right? If we're inside and Leanne's calling for something, she'll say, you know, hey, Brendyn, go check Walter. Right? If she said go check the pit, I'm going to say, well, which pit am I checking? So all the pits have a name, and there's a meaning behind each one. This one is called Walter. He's a reverse flow, named after my dear grandfather, who still comes to visit me quite often. He's here in Nacogdoches. We found this tank out on his land, and the doors were already cut open. Somebody started building a pit and bailed on it, so we hauled it out the woods, and we sent it off to Central Heights, and they refabricated it for us. Don't let looks fool you. I love how rough this pit looks. The doors aren't cut even. It's just not the prettiest looking pit, but man, this reverse flow just cooks so well. We come in, we're not your typical barbecue joint that comes in at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. We don't have to do that right now. I mean, things change, but we used to do that, cooking until 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, coming in at 2, and honestly, we have kids and stuff, and I couldn't keep doing my dream job and keep that part of the lifestyle. So we have different routines of doing things. We come in around 7 in the morning. These briskets we trim the day before. We season with only salt, pepper, and coffee. The coffee is made local from Java Jacks. They have different blends of beans, but all their beans come in. They roast the beans for us. They grind it to a special grind so it can apply to our briskets really well. Coffee is about 50% of it. So once the briskets go on, we will wrap these tight in foil around 4 o'clock. So they're on at 7. You can say they're probably on cooking by 8 for sure. And by 4 o'clock, we'll wrap them tight in foil. I used to go back and forth on paper and foil, but once we used coffee, we found that foil was the best method because we want to capture all that juice and au jus. I like to tell people what we're doing is we're brewing coffee with brisket fat, and that really helps out with the flavor. So once it's wrapped tight in that foil, it'll probably go for a few more hours. They're typically off by 9 o'clock, I would say. They're going to rest in the warmer all night, just coming down, resting, but they're sitting in that brisket au jus coffee fat all night long, just braising. And in the mornings, we take the briskets out to kind of just let them dry a little bit so we get a nice crunchy bark. And we save all that juice and au jus for different things. I use it in boudin. We make boudin from scratch. We've recently been using that coffee au jus for collard greens. So we'll stew that we'll stew the collard greens in the au jus and chicken broth. And gosh, it's the best collard greens I've ever made. I'm really proud of it. I like reverse flow. I think it's easier to clean. I think it's safer with fires. I just like the even, steady temperature that comes with it. But this is our reverse flow. Got a meat locker here, table for wrapping everything. I'm gonna squeeze around the HP. We've got a wood oven vault. We call it the vault. We use this for cooking hot things. We bake things on it. Leanne makes an amazing carrot cake. She makes a carrot cake from scratch. She makes different frostings we'll put on it. My favorite one is she'll do a lemon blueberry frosting. This thing is awesome for baking things. I mean, we bake biscuits on it. When we do breakfast once a month, we'll make biscuits on it. We'll bake cakes on it. On a normal basis, you know, she's got poppers and chicken that's glazed on it. The glaze we do is a mayonnaise-based glaze. It's just mayonnaise and our sweet barbecue sauce mixed together to a certain ratio. But there's something, you know, when it goes on, it kind of has this orangey look to it, but when it's done caramelizing, it has this like deep mahogany red rich color, and it naturally shines, and it's so beautiful, and it tastes great. The rub just really holds to it. It's a fun sticky sauce. We do that on our chicken and our ribs. We make our own sausage. It's a 3-day process. Day 1 we'll be getting the beef set aside, and that starts the ratio for how much fat we need, and then pork. Sausage has its own seasoning blend that we make, and then the curing process. So once it is cubed, ground and marinated, and cased, then by day 2, 3, it goes to the cold smoking stage. These are the pits. We call them the dillos. There's armadillos on top. There's other names for them. This is Lefty, and that's George 4. Lefty is kind of a baseball term, right? The pit's on the left. You know, when you need a pitcher to come in, left-handed pitchers just really come in and do a great job. So we call it Lefty. This one comes in clutch. George 4, when I started Brendyn's Barbecue, his name is George Middlebrook. He's George Middlebrook the 4th. Before I had a barbecue pit, I used his barbecue pit. So I started Brendyn's Barbecue on a pit that wasn't mine. So we named that pit after him, just as an homage. So let's see. Got that beautiful white billowing smoke. Yeah, these have been cold smoking since probably she got them on at 7. So this is what it looks like in a cold smoking stage. Probably let it go for a few more hours, then we'll give it an ice bath, and it'll chill and dry out some more overnight in the fridge. What's funny about sausage is, you know, it takes us 3 days to make sausage for a customer to bite it and eat it in 5 minutes and say that's good, you know. So it's there's definitely a lot of work that goes in barbecue that people just don't truly appreciate. So we've done the pits. The wood guy, his name is Daryl. Daryl's been my wood guy since 2019. He has never let me down. In short, he's got a bunch of land, and he's got a friend that does, you know, he does tree cutting. And, you know, it's East Texas. We have trees everywhere. So Daryl has his friend drop off all the wood on his property. He splits it, and then he hauls the wood every week. We go through about a cord to a cord and a half a week. It's all oak. It's really whatever oak I can get my hands on. It's post oak, it's red oak, it's white oak. I'm a big fan of white oak. It burns really good. The coals look great. I think the flavor's there. I can dabble in pecan, but outside of that, I'm really happy with oak. I'm inspired by Central Texas barbecue. So, you know, around here we get a lot of pecan. I'm not a big fan of hickory. Hickory is a little bit too mild for me. I've honestly never cooked with the mesquite. You would think that I have, but I never have. So I know a lot of West Texas people do. Randall Barbecue I know uses mesquite. So coming on over here, outside we just have a lot of cool outside signs, a lot of stuff from Coke. Coke just filmed last week, so that was really cool to even have their stuff up. This was our original menu board made from Don Smith Signs. It's all hand painted. This was made in 2018, all hand painted by him. So once, you know, as the menu changes, we've kind of replaced menus. We had another one that just came off when we did the brick and mortar. We remodeled it. We had the 3rd sign made. So we'll do this one. Yeah, this is one that was inside just before he just made our 3rd one. And it's changed over time. So yeah, we used to have today's special, the lotus bud and banana pudding written in, because those were things we were testing. Those things are staples now, so they have their own spot officially on the menu. This is our new pit. This is our 1,000 gallon indirect smoker. This one was built by Mount Enterprise Clint Creel and the students over there. We were in need of more pits. I mean, I have 1, 2, 3, I have 4 pits, and honestly 4 is not enough. At Thanksgiving, we'll do turkeys on Thanksgiving Day, And each year we'll probably do, 40, 50 briskets. We'll do 110 turkeys, another 50 hams. We'll do, a ton of pans of sides. And those are all pre-ordered and prepaid. And what we like to offer is on Thanksgiving Day, you can come, and we're here that morning from 9:30 to like 10:30 is the window to come and pick it up. We carve it for you if you need us to. But we, every year, have sold out and can't meet the demand. There's so many people that want our turkeys. It's a delicious turkey. So we had to get Popo made, named after my dad who passed away. We got his name here on the back. Man, this thing, I tell you, this cooks awesome. I'm really proud of this pit. We took the inspirations from the companies that I love, M&M and Primitive Pits and Mill Scale. But with locally, when I need a new pit, the school at Mountain Enterprise had a whole new campus built, and they have this brand new ag department with all this new technology. And they reached out to me asking if they could build me a pit. And I was like, man, that's awesome. Like, we need a pit, so let's do it. So we got to build this completely from scratch, from the ground up. And Clint did such a good job. The counterweights are great. All the custom was made by him. Got our name up there, the logo with the apple, Nacogdoches, Texas. Let's see, these counterweights are just so great. I mean, you can just 2 fingers lift it. We got a cobbler going up top. We've got that delivering today. We got our popper series. As you can see, it's that brown sugar, our pork rubs mixed in it, and then it's stuffed with cream cheese that we season as well. Yeah, this thing, when it's riding good temperature, Popo will ride 250 on bottom pretty much all the way down. And then from door 1, 2, 3, and 4, let's say if I'm 250 here, I'll probably be at 350, 375 up here. And then it'll be, from 375 to 350 to 325 to 300. So I love that each door is by 25-degree increments. We know what cooks best and what to work with. Behind this door, yeah, we've got our glazed ribs shining. It's hot, but you know what? We've been doing this long enough that you kind of lose a lot of nerve endings when you do this enough. But yeah, ribs are glazed, getting their color in them. Our ribs, we do a salt and lemon pepper rub. There's nothing really else added to it. I like the way the lemon pepper shines through. It kind of gives it that zesty flavor. And when you add our sweet glaze on top, that lemon pepper, that tartness, that citrusy rub comes through with the sweet glaze. Gosh, it's so good. So yeah, a salt lemon pepper rub, that's it. And then with the glaze on top. Let's see. Behind door number 3, we got our sausage coming. These are ready to pull. So we've got our house-made sausage, once it finishes that cold smoking process and ice bath, the next day it gets cooked for service. Down here we got 2 types of boudin going. This is our barbecue boudin. It's gonna be pumped with our brisket and coffee au jus and pulled pork, habaneros, jalapenos, celery, that holy trinity, but we switched the bell pepper with jalapenos. This was a fun one. I'll say shout out again to Chef Siva and Chef Martin Weaver. I really wanted to do like an Asian style boudin. So this is going to be smoked duck. We got these whole ducks come in and we smoked them, and then it's got lemongrass in it. It's got Thai basil made with basmati rice. It's got the duck innards. It's got duck liver in it and the duck gizzards. It's got fish sauce and sriracha and red chili oil. I mean, I am really proud of that boudin. It took me several tries to get it done. We're serving it today. We'll cut it open later. Let you see the inside. Hey, Andy, Andy over there, the sausage is ready to pull.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Yep. See, door number 4, nothing. So there you go. I'll show you the front side of it. This is what's really cool. We got the Mountain Enterprise School logo there on the side. This was a surprise to me. My wife didn't tell me that they were doing this, but my dad's picture that you saw hanging up inside, they had it engraved here on the front. And when they delivered the pit 2 weeks ago, man, I was walking around the front and I just dropped down and started crying. It meant so much to me to have his face on it. It's a 15-something foot stack. It's a huge stack. It folds over, which is cool. Not so cool when you gotta get it back up. But we just tow strap it up there and pull it up with the truck and then lock it in with these. So Yeah, we travel. We'll be taking this to the Texas Monthly Festival coming up. I'm excited to show this off, and we'll be cooking, you know, for 3,500 people. We're gonna do our coffee rub brisket. We're gonna do our pig apple sandwich. We're gonna serve it as sliders. And then our pitmaster Leanne is gonna make that carrot cake. And we'll be serving those 3 things on November 2nd. Really hope to see you there. We do a ton of catering. Here's our really cool skull in your face, eat, barbecue, or die. We cater a lot of weddings. We do events. We've catered up to 600 people multiple times at the Expo Center. So this is our delivery van. We use it for hauling our catering equipment. Man, as the business was growing, it was my truck for everything. And it's not fun when you got to get the car seats out of your truck to load more catering gear, and we got all the tubs in the back of the truck. So we finally grew to a place where we needed this big van, and I'm pretty sure it was an Amazon van. It was blue, but we just got it wrapped from the place in Lufkin, and man, they did such a good job. So we partner with a lot of people, but yeah, it's the logo. We turned the pig into the skull, that pirate theme. You see this thing driving around Nacogdoches all the time. We took the pinstriping that you saw that Don did, and they printed that on it. A lot of that's on the food truck. Yeah, you see the pinstriping here that he did, that OG pinstriping. So yeah, I'm really proud of the small place. It's a small spot, you know. We are located here in downtown Nacogdoches. It's pretty cool that we're one of the few restaurants downtown that has our own parking. We get so busy at lunch that, man, we can't even park on our own lot. But we are open Tuesday through Saturday. We open at 11 a.m. We close at 7 p.m. We're sold out. We typically don't sell out until Fridays or Saturdays. I would say on Tuesday through Thursday, we're averaging, 14 to 16 briskets a day. On the weekends, it can jump up to, 20, depending on the amount of catering and events going on. But yeah, we'd love for y'all to come see us. Thanks to Kevin's Barbecue Joints for letting us show you and y'all our space. Thank you to all the other restaurants that have done it as well. I am watching them. I like to peek in and see what kind of secrets you got hiding in your kitchen and in your pits. But no, it's cool for y'all to showcase what goes on behind the scenes. It's a lot of hard work. Barbecue is not easy. We got a good crew here, so we would love for y'all to come see us Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 7, or until we sell out here in Nacogdoches at 601 East Main Street, Nacogdoches, Texas, 75961. So our ribs, we really don't trim a whole lot. We used to take the silver skin off. We used to take these flaps off, but man, when you do, 18, 20 racks a day, and you're sold out of ribs by 3 or 4 o'clock, I don't want to take the time to peel all these. And honestly, I like a little chew. I like a little pull underside of the rib. So if it's just like excessive, I'll trim it off. But man, for time, we don't peel it. We just go with it. We just coat it with some oil. Very simple. Do a little wipe in. I used to have a more complicated rub. Like we used to put our pork rub on it with all the garlic and the chili powder and all that. And what I found is with those savory ones, they just cake a lot. And I feel like the smoke didn't penetrate, and the rub would be more like a wet rub. And I really wanted a dry rub. So we just found with ribs to do a simpler seasoning and do a thin glaze, and really just like less is more in that case. We used to use just salt, pepper, and mustard powder, and then we really fell in love with using lemon pepper. I love Wingstop. I eat Wingstop almost like every weekend. So I think that lemon pepper gives it a good zesty, salty bite. This stuff already has garlic in it and some onion, so I mean it works great on its own. But yeah, we're gonna salt and pepper these. Pretty simple. We don't wrap these in any part of the cooking process except for at the very end. Once these are done smoking for the day, what we'll do is when they come off the pit, we'll wrap them tight in foil, not to continue cooking or anything like that. It's just to help us store them in the fridge. But these are our St. Louis spare ribs. We get these, they come in already spared for us. We don't have to do any of the hacking off. It just, with how busy we get and all the prep we do in a day, I'll tell you what, trimming, the less trimming, the better. Some people don't like to season the other side. I like seasoning both sides. I don't judge anybody. Everybody has their methods and reasons, but if I'm going to season the meat, I'm going to season every bit of surface that I can. So numbers wise, we're doing on average about 18 racks a day on ribs. We'll do 14 to 16 briskets, and then on weekends I'll bump up to 20. I can't even count the amount of poppers we go through. But give these all a flip. Oil that one. Oil dress. Oil is really not to add any flavor. It's just to help the rub stick. I've never been a big fan of mustard binders. I just think it's messy. And mustard just kind of gets cakey to it as well. I try to get a nice, not too thick, not too light. A lot better when this is closer to me. If you get really good at rubbing, like when the wind blows, like it is right now, it's going to blow it all that way. But that's, you know, barbecue is barbaric cooking. And I think that's what I love about it. It's just, it's fire, it's smoke, it's meat, it's salt, it's a curing process. And I think that's really what got me in love with barbecue is just, it's a weathered condition cooking. You know, there's no perfect day for cooking things. You know, if we have a lot of rain, which we get a lot of rain around here, I know if it's raining a lot this week that the wood I'm getting next week is probably going to be pretty soaked, pretty dense. Good tricks to do with that is to put your wood on the firebox like we do sometimes. That will help dry it out. So there we go. We got the salt and pepper on. Yeah, I got the underside. I always want to do the bottom first. That way when you flip it, right, then you get a nice, not messed up coat. So gives it a nice yellow shine. But that lemon pepper really has a good amount of flavor. It's like a way to add salt without being too salty. Haul that one in. In the summers, the way we found the lemon pepper is Nacogdoches has a blueberry festival. And man, I want to say that festival, which happens practically in front of our restaurant and down the street downtown, it'll have, you know, up to 20,000 people come. And it's truly a blueberry festival. So we make a blueberry menu. And in that menu, we'll do a blueberry maple sausage. Our Matt will make true blueberry kolaches, and we'll bake those on the wood oven here outside. But then we made a blueberry glazed ribs, and at the time we were using just salt, pepper, and mustard powder, but we wanted something to really bind with that blueberry because we got lemon juice in the blueberry glaze, and we figured, hey, let's just try lemon pepper as a rub. And that lemon pepper like really shine through that blueberry maple glaze. And just, we love the flavor of it. It's really different for ribs. And so when we came back after Blueberry Festival, we tried it on our regular, you know, house roast for the day, and definitely liked it better than our salt, pepper, and mustard powder. We're gonna get these loaded up.
I also I'm already there. Salt on me. Yeah, I put one on the
Try to be ducks on the water around here at lunchtime. Could be exterior, we can be happy, we can be calm and collected, and inside we just feel like we're dying. It's we sign up for it, it's part of the job. We're here to cook food and serve people. I think that showed the bear is a little bit of a magnified version of it, but some days, those days are really happening.
So we're doing call ahead orders. We get a lot of them for offices, people that want to travel with our brisket and stuff. So we pre-prep it in advance to make this transition easier for the customer. I'm currently making 23 of our single meat McCoys. Getting 23 of these sandwiches prepped and out the door at 11:30. And then I have another order that's got to be delivered. So it's this space gets used every day and very efficiently.
Is the original do it for Levi? It was just me and the creature.
We've gotten very acclimated to working in really small spaces, which makes it fun and challenging at the same time. I tell everyone who gets started here, I hope you are comfortable with being close to everyone else, because we've just had to get used to it. I mean, as we've grown, we've had to get more things. We used to use this as dry storage, and now it's an entire prep kitchen for us to get these orders out the door effectively for our customers. After you do this long enough, you pretty much know exactly how much meat fits into your hand to make these sandwiches. So it's kind of an unspoken skill that's hard to just train to. You just have to do it with enough time. I always tell everybody that slow is fast, because slow is accurate and accurate is fast. And that's what we aim for, is precision. That's kind of our key word this year, is precision. We want everything to be the same as the first experience to the last experience. And we do that just through repetition. And honestly, the quality of the food here just stays good because we're all focused on that same task, precision. And I love that.
I can kick up Popo just a little bit. There's a window you can keep temperature at with barbecue. And when you're selling out of boudin, the sausage, we're gonna ride the top of that window as much as we can. With the firebox, the design we went with, you notice that all of our other pits besides the wood oven has vented doors, and we've just found that the door itself makes a good vent. I mean, if I have the stack wide open, I can be here, even with that little crack, I can be 250, and then over here, I can be at 275 to 300. So, I mean, designs are cool depending on the position of your pit and where wind comes. It's good to have airflow in the door. We just found that with this design and with the way we run everything else. I mean, Walter over there has a vented door, but we just leave the door wide open. And we honestly keep an electric box fan to keep that pit running all day. When you pack it with briskets, sometimes it's hard to keep maintaining the coals where you want them. So keeping that oxygen blowing inside the firebox with the reverse flow, it's a really good investment. Yeah, I mean, already he's catching up. So we're gonna run it wide open and get that as high as we can, then we'll choke it down. Yeah, already he's already climbing at 300 just by 2 logs and opening a door. Man, I love that pit. Here we're doing our bone-in pork butts. We only go through about like 2 or 3 a day. I mean, pork goes a long way. We use these for the Gare Bear sandwich and then the pig apple sandwich. So this is our pork rub. Everything, all of our ribs are made in house. It's gonna be salt, pepper, paprika, cayenne, garlic, onion, red pepper flakes, chili powder. That's it, there's no sugar in it. It's just nice, salty, savory. If you were new to barbecue, like cooking it, pork butts are like the best meat to start. It's such a forgiving meat, so much fat. You can overcook it and it'd be delicious. Like I said, I want to make sure that what I'm seasoning, the surface of the meat that's going to be up top, I want to make sure I season that last, because if you keep flipping the meat, you're going to lose that on the table and it'll get messy. And barbecue, a lot of that's presentation, right? So I want to make sure that my rub has a nice, even application. I mean, honestly, it's going to get shredded up anyways, but I still have to do it. It's the way my brain works. But yeah, with ribs and briskets, same way. Like when we season briskets, we make sure to season the bottom first so that when we flip it, you know, the top, once you season the top, that top never gets flipped. That rub stays. So we're gonna take these in.
So our shop is Dolphin Printing and Corecraft Signs. So we run both businesses out of the same location. And I've just really enjoyed doing a lot more of the custom signage instead of just the basic box signs like most people get just because they're cheaper. But when you got somebody with the money like Brendyn does, to where we can do some custom work, this is what you end up with. A really nice piece. And we've done several other jobs in town that are custom like this, but this is like one of my favorites.
Yeah. And how much time did I give you to build it?
You said that I had like less than 3 weeks. So we worked overtime trying to get this knocked out, and we were actually a little ahead of schedule because we were putting in weekend time on it too. So
yeah, they got it done then.
But yeah, it worked out. It ended up turning out great, man. I was so pleased with it. You know, and then we didn't want him to have like all the other customers in Nacogdoches or pretty much all around, to where they just had a basic cabinet sign, rectangle, you know, stuff like that. So we gave it a little more flair to it, and we did like a channel letter style with his logo, which at night it lights up and it's backlit, so it'll light up bright, and then it'll have a red glow around the edge of it, which gives it a really neat effect at night. And then like all the tin, of course it was all brand new at first, yeah. And then we aged it, and then these are just regular water troughs for animals. It all worked out really good, you know, something kind of unique. Yeah. You don't really see every day. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and you do a lot of these signs for here in Nacogdoches.
Yes.
What I love about it is that, you know, from like miles down the road, at the top of the street, like I can see it late at night or early mornings coming to work. That's what I love about it. It stays lit from, you timed it from 5 p.m. to 8 a.m. So I mean, when I'm miles down the road, it's like the one light you see that's like shining. It's almost like a shining light to downtown. It's a beacon of hope, somebody called it. You know, it's a lighthouse where to come get the barbecue. And then with same coming from downtown, that it's just the one sign you see that just lights up the sky at night. So it's beautiful, man.
Yes.
I love it.
Thanks.
Yeah. Like, I still think I'm the best slicer, obviously. When I'm not distracted by loyal customers, I'd say I'm the most efficient and fastest. But no, I'm just such a personable person. Now, customers come in, I'm up front, and I'm like talking and sharing life. And my employers are like, boss, you got to go. There's a line out the door. We need you to move. But what's cool is, you know, once I figured out how to do everything the way that I do, the way I cook ribs and brisket, in order for this thing to grow, I couldn't do it by myself. So Leanne's been with me for how long? Like, even from Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, I was from Chick-fil-A like 8.
Yeah, so Leanne's been with me for 8 years. She knows how to put up with me. I know how to put up with her. She knows my values and my heart. And she's just phenomenal in the kitchen. And so we vibe really well. They got to a point where it's like, man, I need somebody else to be like head pitmaster and look over the quality of everything. Because, man, like, it's one thing to be a pitmaster and cook barbecue. It's another to do that as a business, you know. One of the favorite things I read is when people put on Nac Talk, where's the best barbecue? You know, Nac Talk being Nacogdoches Facebook. And there's always that one comment, it's like, my house and blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, but can you cook a brisket? And can you cook 20 briskets the same quality, you know, 5 days a week? Can you cook 18 racks of ribs the same quality 5 days a week? Can you make sausage while you're doing that? Can you also do the bank runs? Can you also order truck? Can you also do payroll? Can you also do catering quotes and bids and do a delivery? Like, can you do all of that while you're cooking your one brisket, right? It takes more than one person. So I made Leanne my head pitmaster, and once I taught her everything, it's really a point now where I can take vacation and Leanne will just run these pits. And we have several pitmasters. You know, Leanne's the head pitmaster, but a lot of our managers are trained to where, you know, I would even say at this point now, if we took a week off, the barbecue is going to be the same. We've done a great job of training our pitmasters and key holders. But the story I love to share is that ribs was a journey for us. The ribs have changed like every year. We've changed the rubs, we've changed the glaze, wrapping versus not wrapping. And here's the trick with ribs. This is how we get away with coming in at 7 in the morning and not 4 o'clock in the morning. A lot of people, I think a lot of joints probably come in really early to get the ribs on, so they're done by lunchtime. They're really fresh. We took inspiration from Salt Lick Barbecue, where they cook everything in a 2-step process, and so they do it twice cook. And we practiced that, trying to figure it out for months. And then one day we came in and just started over. Like, we got rid of the rub and we say, hey, we're gonna do salt and pepper. It was like, this salt and pepper, this is mustard powder, this is lemon pepper. And so we cook ribs naked. We never wrap them in foil. We don't rush them. We cook them naked for probably about 4 or 5 hours, and then we chill them. And then the next day they go back on the pit. And this allows us to come to work at a later time. I mean, we have kids we're taking to school. It's hard to get here early in the morning. So we developed a system that works best for us in our personal lives. So we can be happy and all of it, right? But what's cool is that Leanne got with me, and she had been learning these new ways of doing ribs. And dude, I'm telling you, cooking ribs the way we do now, there are days we'll cook them fresh if it's a busy day. And our mainstream system for cooking ribs is better than cooking it fresh the day of. And I think it's just, we really perfected that system, the glazing method, the timing, the temperature, and it allows us to get more sleep, But what's cool is that me being Brendyn at Brendyn's Barbecue, and I created these recipes and these systems. Then I have a head pitmaster who is calling us in, and I'm over here by the pit, and she's teaching me how to make ribs. So Brendyn, who was the pitmaster, designed everything, is now a student to his head pitmaster, as she's showing me the better way to make ribs. And Matt figured out better ways to rub the brisket to get more of a coffee and salt pepper blend. So what I love that I've done and what we've done is that it's not, yes, it's Brendyn's Barbecue and this is my baby, but I have delegated and I've trained pitmasters to where we all thrive and do better, right? Like Leanne has a way that she cooks things and I learn from her. Matt has a way that he cooks things and we learn from him. And so it's really like a trio of us that bounce off each other. What's cool about Brendyn is I get to have the final say-so, and I get to be the final taste tester, which is always a really cool job. But it's a team effort to get to the flavors and quality to where it's at. And even your younger brother, Andy, has the most popular special. We do Andy stuffed chicken, and Andy just said, hey, boss, I want to stuff a chicken breast with cream cheese and wrap it in bacon. And we're like, that's a cool concept. How can we make it a Brendyn's Barbecue thing? So we collaborated with her younger brother. And so now we have this Andy stuffed chicken, which is, probably like a half a pound chicken breast. It's huge. We fillet it, we take the cream cheese and we season it with our pork rub. We roast red peppers in the vault, and then with spinach, and we stuff it, and then we close the chicken, we wrap it in candied bacon, and we sell so many of those. I mean, it takes us a whole day just to prep them. That's pretty, it's funny that just our manager made the most popular side. The guy who's not the chefy one has the most popular dish. That's pretty cool. We do breakfast once a month. We aim for the first Friday of the month. We make the salsa from scratch. We do a red salsa and we do a salsa verde. We just fire up the grill and we roast all the vegetables, make salsa. We do we call it a briskets and gravy. We make the biscuits from scratch. We bake them on the vault. And then we put a quarter-pound slice of brisket on it. We use a white pepper sausage gravy, and then we top it with some barbecue sauce. Then the other thing is just breakfast tacos. It's your eggs, candy bacon or brisket and the salsa. And then Matt makes cinnamon rolls, and we bake the cinnamon rolls on the vault, and we top it with pecans and the cream cheese frosting and the candy bacon crumble. We candy bacon everything around here. It's the best way to cook bacon.
Asian smoked duck boudin. So, worked very hard on these yesterday. I can actually make this a better shot because I can pull the shelves out.
Did you make the sausage at all?
The sausage, yes. The boudin, I cooked the ducks, and then Brendyn did all of the seasoning, and he did all the rice and everything he added to it. So it was 48 hours of work, roughly, because the duck's cooked. I did not expect to actually be able to smell the duck after heating these back up, but you can, and that's really cool. All right, leave that there.
One thing we do with our briskets, I know that a lot of people trim off the mohawk. We don't trim off the mohawk. I like that big nugget right there. And when we get first time customers, you know, when they tell us it's their first time, we love to cut that off when it's cooked. And we love to serve that as like a first bite, you know, burn in. So a customer comes in, we'll cut that off for them. Yeah, we keep the mohawk on specifically for that reason. So we'll get you some, got some burn ends on there, and trim this up, get you some fatty slices. There we go. Yeah, we trim it out pretty deep too. Get all that coffee inside of it. Yeah, there's a big old fatty slice right there. So we went through how we make the briskets and how we rub it and how coffee is 50% of our rub. The coffee is all roasted here in Nacogdoches. This is Brent. This is with El Camino Real Coffee. They also own Java Jacks, which is closer to town. We're over here in their lab secret getaway where they are roasting all the beans. This is where they taste test and do everything. So I'm gonna pass it on to him and he's gonna tell y'all kind of how everything works.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Brendyn. Yeah, thank you. Glad to be working with you and glad to see your success and the continued growth here. So here, this is our Dietrich IR12, which is a 12 kilo coffee roasting machine. Very simple of sorts, where we've got a chamber here in the middle that we do the roasting. It's a little tough to see, but here it rotates in the center. We introduce the coffee from the top. It'll spend about 10 to 15 minutes depending on what we're trying to do with the coffee, whether we need it to be a little lighter, a little brighter, or something a little heavier, fuller bodied, maybe in the darker range. So we can really tailor, similar to how you do with your recipes, we're able to dictate what the user is looking for and what the end result of the taste and the components of those coffees are. Brendyn, would you grab that little bucket there? The one with the beans. Yeah. So this is the green coffee. This is what we start with. This is the way all the imported coffees that we get from around the world begin. They've been processed to be roasted in facilities such as ours, in machines. And these machines can be super small to where you do 50 grams, like we do 12 kilograms here, to where other people do 120 kilograms, which is a full sack. Yeah. So that takes a lot of manpower and space. So if you want, what we do, we hold this for me while we're working here.
I like it.
Yeah. So I'm going to take my coffee and I'm just going to place it here in the top of my hopper. There we go. And I've gotten my machine warmed up and idling here. First, let me do one thing, is I do need to remove this coffee here. This has already been actively cooled. So as it exits the roaster here in a few minutes, we're actively drawing cold air from the room across the beans and then stirring them to stop the roasting process. The beans themselves will reach an internal temperature of about 420 degrees, some as high as 440. So it's really important that we take that coffee down and we cool it down extremely quickly and stop that process and allow it to really be at that flavor nuance that we're looking for. So I'm going to pull this out and then we'll just catch it in a recycle bin or a bin here, and we'll weigh it out, and then we'll take that to our packaging table and we'll package it up, whether it's in 5-pound bags, individual bags for retail sales, or containers such as yours where we'll pre-grind your coffee and have it ready for you to go. So everybody's a little different. Some of the restaurants we work with require something a little, grab and go kind of process. So, all right. So now that we're going to go and let this one get out, I've got my coffee here. I've got my temperature up in place. I use my software over here to kind of help us get everything.
Wait, I'm going to clip you real quick.
Okay. No, please go ahead. All right, so as I open the gate here, I'm able to trigger. Oops. trigger my software over there. So now the coffee is entered into the center chamber you can see right here. And we have our tool here, which is a trier, which if I want, as it's roasting, I can pull and I can get samples. And we'll see how it moves from the green to the end result of the brown roasted coffee in about 10, 12 minutes on this batch. All right, so I've got my temperatures running, I've got my gas on, and we are looking good. So a lot of this is just starting with coffees that, as I mentioned, we import coffees through brokers that work with growers all over the world. So we'll use coffees from Brazil, Colombia, all through Latin America, Guatemala, El Salvador, as much as African countries, the Kenyan, Ethiopia, Indonesian coffees from Sumatra, and so forth. Each of them having a subtle, unique flavor profile and a taste that allows us to sometimes mix and combine the coffees to create something personal for ourselves, such as our lumberjack blend or our red dirt blend, where we'll use fuller, deeper bodied coffees. But yeah, it's a lot like cooking, where you kind of learn the process. We do a lot of tasting. So after the coffee is finished, we'll take a little sample and we'll taste it and evaluate it and make sure it's up to our standards, and not getting too far out of the perception of window that we want to present. So, but now this is roasting. First little stage here, the coffee beans start to dry out a little bit, and they'll slowly move from green to yellow. And then from a slight, almost straw hay-like color, they're going to move into the roasted brown that we know so well. Get all these out of here. All right, so now this is kind of the first stage of the process. Is a little bit of the slower stage as it starts to dry, but it's super important that we don't dry the coffee too fast or too slow, and we find a nice equilibrium. That's why we use our software over here to give us a readout of what's happening from the internal situation from the exhaust air. We have our bean probe here, so I can measure the temperature of the actual beans. I know what my environmental temp is. And again, just through repetition, just as a cook or a chef will do for a recipe, we develop certain profiles, timing profiles that allow us to vary the end result of that coffee. All right. We're getting there. There we go. All right, everything's looking good. We're right on time here. A little better. My wife and I started Java Jack's Coffee House back in 1997. And we just had really, just wanted to create a little coffee place here in Nacogdoches. We were near the university around the corner here. And I had while we were working and researching and building the business of the coffee house, I had come across roasting as a process and a feature of the roast of the coffee world. And I just kind of really fell in love with that part of the process. And at one point I was able to acquire a roasting machine. During that time I had developed relationships with brokers and other people in the industry. So I was able to, get that established into our store, and I started roasting for ourselves there. And then after a number of years, I think maybe 8 or 9 years, it just grew to a point where it just needed to be on its own footing. It needed to be on its own little facility here. It just allows us to be much more nuanced and much more detailed and very extremely quality oriented in the end results. So it's been a slow but gradual process, but it's been a very rewarding process. I've used the Specialty Coffee Association, which is a group of fellow other coffee owners that are all in different parts of the industry, from importers to exporters to people like myself that own roasteries and cafes. They've always been very supportive and educating and providing us with information to make the right decisions. So there's not necessarily hard and fast rules in coffee roasting. There's a lot of general guidelines, but it's up to ourselves as coffee roasters to figure out how we want to present those coffees and how we get there. So if you notice now, this coffee here has moved into the drying stage, right? And it's turned yellow and it's lost all its green. Now, if you see that little chaff there, that's a last little piece of skin that, as the coffee beans are expanding, they're releasing the little pieces of chaff. And that's all being evacuated out the rear of the roaster and collected into a container. So as this roast is proceeding, we're going to watch it real quick here. All right, let's check my temp. As you'll see, it'll just slowly but surely move from this nice pale yellow into a nice deep chestnut brown. The longer that you leave the coffee in the roaster, the darker the coffee becomes. The oils of the coffee start to expand, and you might see darker coffees with an oily surface. That's because the coffee's been allowed to roast longer, just like you might allow a dish or a particular piece of meat, right, to cook longer, right? And it maybe be on the density or how you want that to be in that oven. And again, I know you probably work with the heat as a huge thing, right? So heat is very important here because we have infrared burners that are using natural gas that are laying underneath our drum here to provide us a consistent heat source, radiant heat source, but also convection. And I can use my airflow of my fans to add or reduce the convection level. As we started seeing more and more chaff come off of the coffee, I moved my blower to more convection, right? So there's more air moving through the system now. But that helps control the roast. That helps control the heat of the roast. Because as we develop into the next stage of the first crack, which is referred to where all the moisture of the coffee has been evaporated, we've gone through the Maillard process where we caramelize sugars. Now the cells are expanding and they're releasing the last little bit of moisture and steam that may be in there. So what you get is a bump in your temperature rise, which, okay, but that happens, it's natural. So we take care to adjust our temperature ahead of time and our airflow ahead of time, so we're not losing control of those little moments, right? But that took a while to figure out, you know, and every machine is different. That's the other thing, is that I could work on this machine and transfer to another machine, similar size, etc. And the variables are going to be different. The end results can be the same, but how do you get there is going to be a little different. So it takes just a little bit of time and tasting and seeing how the variables of the different machine adjust the coffee accordingly. So
you can see it changing. Right?
Yeah, and this now, it's even getting even closer to where we'll actually hear a little audible pop. You see here, this is a very cinnamon color. This is still like if you were to still pull this coffee at this stage and try and brew it, it would taste raw, vegetable. That's, you know what I mean? Very astringent.
When we were tasting, you were showing me about like how there's tasting notes where at a certain part of the roasting, it would taste like roasted tomatoes.
Yes, that's the very vegetable side of coffee. Sometimes lighter roasted coffees will have more of those tones, and that's okay. People like to present it that way, and that's okay. We prefer sweeter coffees, flavorful, sweeter, fruitier coffees, but not so much that it overpowers the complexity of how everything works together. We like balance and cohesion, as well as repeatability. A lot of times some super nuanced, very exotic coffees deserve to be presented in that manner. Maybe, you know, not roasted or cooked as long, because as you do roast these coffees, you do roast away the flavors, and you do, not that we're creating flavors, everything's inherent in there. We're having chemical reactions with using the heat and air to get us into where we want it to be, taste experience. Right, so now we're getting really close here. Yeah, so we're modulating our gas down. Where I've actually have all the gas off. There's our first crack. We'll mark that. So now if you listen, you hear right now how there's a little bit of that little soft snap, crackle, pop almost, like Rice Krispies. And it'll just develop even more as we get further and further into the roast. So I have probably another 2 minutes, minute and a half, until this coffee will be done. And I'm using a very low rate of rise here to control the end color, as well as getting the depth of development that we need. Trying to get the beans to expand fully. Another minute. Now if you smell even now like that roasted smell of coffee, right? It just smells like roasted coffee. And you can hear the crack even more right now as it's cracking even harder. Eventually, if we were to let the coffee go another 20 degrees, you would get what's called a second crack. And that's where you start seeing the darker roast and the oils that are internal into the coffee coming to the surface. This coffee, we don't want that, so we're going to maintain the color spectrum as we are. But we're going to stop here in just a minute. All right, and then so whenever I end the roast, this door will open and we'll have all the coffee spill out of here into the cooling bin for us. And let's see here. Give it just a few more seconds. All right, here we go. And now it's going to be the end of the roast there. And now this coffee will take about 4 minutes to cool down. So as we said earlier, it's actively pulling the cool air from the room into the circulation. You can touch it and it's okay, you know. So this one is this was our El Salvador, the Topeka. So that one we use in a lot of different coffees. It's a very good solid coffee we buy from a partner, a friend of mine that I met years ago that's a grower there. And yeah, it's just been one of those really workhorse coffees. It's very sweet, has a slight nuttiness, almost like a walnut. Very pleasant, you know. But it just really works in the full spectrum. So if I need a coffee that I can roast dark, if I need something I can roast a little lighter, it allows me to do that. Sometimes coffees may not behave the same way, being from different regions, different altitudes, different processes. You may have to approach it slightly different, but our main goal is similar throughout the process, right? Because we're not trying to make wild swings. We're keeping everything very narrow. Those coffees are our darker roasted coffees. The red dirt is going to be mainly components that are our fuller bodied, heavier coffees, right? Things that are going to stand up to the darker roast profile, because as I mentioned earlier, as you roast that coffee and it gets darker, you're pulling flavors away, right? So there's a window there, and we want to use our coffees that are going to work in that process, versus if I used a coffee that didn't handle that process well, it can have a little bit of a unpleasant flavor, ashy, smoky thing that's not, and again, everybody's taste is so different, and that's why we have such a broad spectrum. On our lighter scale, on our brighter stuff, we have our Ethiopian. Some people do dark Ethiopian. Some people, I've done it over the years, but as I've worked with it, I've just gotten, hey, that coffee needs to be a little lighter and brighter. It needs to be. It's still sweet and very smooth and very pleasant, but just has a repeatability of drinkability.
Yeah.
You know,
the lumberjack that we use, like it has chocolate notes.
yes.
And what's cool is that a customer who obviously drinks coffee, they say, "Hey, your brisket has like a chocolatey note." And I'm like, "Yes, it does." And we got to tell them how the coffee and how the coffee intentionally has a chocolate.
That's right, and that's part of the process of using the coffees when we do taste them and cup them, and whenever we have samples. We're not necessarily sample roasting them to a dark roast. We're keeping it very light, and because we want to see what's wrong with the coffee. Because when it's very at its point of just being done, it's kind of exposing everything that's good or bad with the coffee. Yeah. And then, you know, having Catherine and myself and Sarah, we taste the coffees and we talk about it. You find those ones that are going to have those attributes. Like the Ethiopian's not necessarily going to have chocolate in it because the one we purchased is more floral, right, and more fruity, right, and it's not nutty or chocolatey. Yeah. Whereas this coffee right here would work very well in getting you that chocolate tone, right? So, and that's the fun and the beauty of what we do is we play with all the different coffees in the back that we have there, and we can mix and match to build components like that. You know, we're not making flavors. We're other than what's already inherently in the coffee, we're just trying to draw it out in the correct manner for us as a company. Sure. Another company is going to do it their way, and that's okay. And that's really what allows everything to be, just like the difference. You know, somebody may have a difference of idea how they may cook their barbecue, right? You know, time frame, right? I mean, something like that may be the big difference, or versus temperatures. So, again, it's one of those things that coffee's very simple. It can be just a great cup of coffee for everybody. Hey, this is enjoyable. You know, it works. Yeah, it works very great for you. And then other people will really want to know every nuance and every detail. Who grew the coffee where? You know, how was it processed? And all the ideas that go into there, because it becomes almost like an agricultural experience where you have to know cultivars and varieties and the legacy of how these cultivars work together, or they're hybridized, and how they naturally move from what we originally found in Ethiopia as the one plant. So and everything now that we have now is a variation off of that genetically. Not modified genetically, but just naturally hybridized as plants do, and then they constantly find new varieties in places. And it's just a natural process of the coffee plant itself. So, but yeah, it's fun and it's exciting for the packaging and all the bagging parts. So this is all the inventory this is all our green inventory room. So all the bags are organized by the country that they're from. They're all labeled independently to help us track them, whether it's through the importer, the lot size, and so forth. So all these coffees are from El Salvador, from this group. These are our Nicaraguans, our Colombians, Costa Ricans. Our African coffees are over here, our Kenyans and Ethiopians, and our Sumatran and Brazilian. So, and this room will ebb and flow as our inventory comes and goes, because it is a produce. You do have a seasonal pattern to the availability of the coffee, so we do have to do some planning, and we do have to do some logistical work with our brokers to make sure that we're purchasing coffee forward enough, and to also that we're not buying too much coffee, but we're not running out. So, but that's what they're there for, and it's always great to have people like that. So, and this is our older machine that we used for years. Now it's broken down and in repair mode. Been parked for a period of years. But yeah, just, so, but here you go. If you'd like, you can, I'll show you here. You can, this is how the green coffee comes to us, just like we were showing you there in the bucket. All right. So, yeah, so we just kind of keep track of everything and do a little